Hi, this is comedian Rob Little. We're here at the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, and this is another episode of Behind the Punchlines. Do I recall the first time I did stand-up, and where was it, and what was it like? Yeah, it's like the best day of my life. It was really, literally like starting my life. I feel like it's my new birthday. It was March 8th, 1998. I was at Joey's Comedy Club in Livonia, Michigan. I'd just taken a 2-day class, and they gave us a week to come up with 3 minutes. And I was at home working on my 3 minutes, and I was using a brush because obviously I didn't need it. And I was talking in the mirror and practicing. Anyways, it came time to do the show, and I walked up on stage, did my first joke, and I'll never forget it. It was like somebody poured warm paint over my head, and I just felt this super calmness. And then I just said right to myself, this is what I'm doing the rest of my life. And it was awesome from that point on. I was only supposed to do 3 minutes. I did 12. I didn't mean to. I come off stage and the guy who taught the class like bear hugged me and he's like, there's no way that was your first time. And I'm like, it was. And they're like, this is awesome. It was like the best night ever. I'll never forget it. And I celebrate that day every year when we hit March 8th every time. What makes comics respect the Comedy Magic Club so much? There's like a laundry list of things. There's the staff. Richard and Mike Lacey are like the best. Like there's only a few clubs in the world that I can even say where I felt this close to an owner and manager. They're just so nice. They treat us great. Everybody always mentions the food. You can't beat the food. I mean, it's so nice, especially a big guy like me talking about that. But it's the history. It's knowing that every big name has come through here. You can't say that about all the clubs across the country. And the audiences are always super fun. And for me, it's like the camaraderie. You know, getting to hang out with other guys that are at your level or way higher. And it just is so fun. It's very inspiring. Every time I leave here, I feel like, oh, I got to get back writing more, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and oh, let me keep in touch with that guy, you know, or it's so, I don't know how much more to say it, but it just makes me so happy to be here. So one thing a lot of people want to know about me is they all find out I got fired from IBM, and that's kind of the story. What really happened was I was doing stand-up for about 1.5 years at this point, and I was jumping jobs. This is how long ago this was. I was like on the cusp of websites when they were just coming out. So each company kept stealing me from other companies to work for them. That was my degree. But I didn't care about it. I wanted to do stand-up, so I did not care a least bit about it. So I would come to work, and I was contracted to Ford, but I was IBM, so I knew I was going to quit, right? So I went and hacked into the company's email system, and I said, people should quit their jobs and follow their dreams, and I'm going off to be a comedian. This is my website. Send. Immediately, people were like, company email isn't for personal use, and I'm like, I don't care, I quit. And I ended up having a meeting with my IBM boss, and he goes, well, you don't seem very funny, so we're going to let you take a leave of absence. And the week after they let me do that, the Detroit Free Press named me Michigan's best up-and-coming comedian. And I sent him that. I didn't say anything. I just sent it to him. And he wrote back, he goes, oh, you're probably not coming back, are you? And I goes, I'm not coming back if they name me worst up-and-coming comedian. And it sent. Never heard from him again. It was such a fun day. It was fun sending. My website got so many hits that day. They had to have lost so many man hours and money from people just perusing my website. Oh man, it was awesome. When IBM fired me, everybody was like, well, if they didn't fire you, do you think you'd still chose comedy? And I'm like, hell yeah, I was already doing it for 1.5 years at that point. I was working for EDS when I first started. EDS was like Ross Perot's company, and I was contracted to General Motors. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you, the day I started doing comedy was the day I became the worst employee any company could have, and they kept throwing money at me. It was insane. But yes, I 100% would have stayed. I would have became a comedian no matter what. Even growing up, since I was 5 years old, I wanted to be one. We saw my parents were watching George Carlin on HBO when we were on vacation one time, and they thought me and my sister were asleep, but I was watching it too. And I never heard my parents laugh like that, and I was like, that's what I want to do the rest of my life. And in my senior, that was at 5 years old, my senior prediction, we had to make a prediction when we were seniors, and I said, I'm going to go off to college, get my computer degree, and then I'm going to be the best comedian I can be. And that's exactly what I did. I don't know many people that say they followed their dreams since they were 5 years old, but I'm definitely living proof of that, and I think most people should be doing that. If you don't think you can, you'd be surprised. Just putting some effort into it and letting people know you want to do that, because then they will want to help you to get to that, achieve your goals as well. So now, a lot of people ask me, I work a lot of cruise ships, so they're like, how different is it working cruise ships over comedy clubs? It's different in a few ways. One, you never can leave your audience. I mean, you have a bad set, you're gonna see them people at the buffet the next day and talk about nobody looking at you. I mean, I never witnessed that, but a lot of other guys have. But when you do well, it's like nonstop. Everybody's wanting to talk to you. And I'm the kind of guy, like, I love talking to people. I'm very friendly. I'm a Midwest guy, so I don't have a problem with that. I love doing it. And it's cool because it opens up a whole new fan base for you when you play a club anywhere in the country. People will be like, oh my God, we saw this guy on a cruise ship. Let's go see him. And then they bring new people out to meet you, and then you just more fans, which is awesome. I think it's awesome. On cruise ships too, we do anywhere from 2 to 15 shows, depending on the cruise line and how long the cruise is. So you get a little better at writing more material and trying to be more creative. At least I think a lot of guys do. Some guys fall into the trap of just writing cruise ship material, but that's not what I do at all. But it's just another form, and it's another way to just fill more time. And but it's awesome. It can be quite lonely though on the cruise ships, because sometimes you don't have another act to hang out with, and you've been to the same places several times, so it gets a little old, and you just you got to find new ways to keep yourself entertained. Everybody's got their own vices, and you try to fight those and try to enjoy life more. I'm saying this out loud, kind of trying to convince myself too, because there's days that are tough, man. Everybody has them, but on the cruise ships, it kind of drains on you more because you can't leave it, But then there's the days where it's just everything's great. You see a new city you've never been to, a new country. You made somebody happy. So I've had some of the most amazing stories. Like one time I was remodeling my house, and a lady sent me, I was getting all kinds of gifts. Every day I was doing unboxing videos because people were sending me gifts for my new house. Well, one lady sent me 2 $500 Home Depot cards. And I opened them up, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, this is obviously an accident. She probably meant to send me one $50 or maybe 2 $50 ones. So as I'm saying it, she was watching the live video. So she replied and said no. And she wrote this big long story saying, I never thought I'd laugh again because my husband passed away. And I went on this cruise, and I went to your first show, and you made me so happy that I went to every one of your shows that cruise. And I've seen that you were working on your house, and I wanted to help you. So I'm kind of tearing up now thinking about it, but she sent me those, and the story was so awesome. And it made me feel really good, because everybody goes through loss, and you find your own way to kind of fight through it, right? And I was that lady's, and so she bought all my specials, and it was really cool. And really, she really helped me out a lot too, helping me remodel my house, which was very cool. But I have several stories like that, and that I don't normally get those from comedy clubs, but I get them quite often on cruise ships. So that's another very cool thing about cruise ships. But yeah, I think that's good. Every comic goes through some weird audience or a weird audience member or something. And I usually have really awesome audiences. But I did have one crazy one not that long ago. I was performing overseas. They flew me to Rome, and I get on the ship, and I go on stage, and I think I said one sentence, and immediately this man from Germany starts cussing me out in German, and I only knew that he was cussing me out because he did slip in a couple English cuss words, and I'm just like, what is going on? And everybody sitting around him is like looking at this guy, and I just stopped the show and I go, I'm so sorry, did I say something to offend you? And he's just glaring at me and would not leave. And I had to do a half-hour show, welcome aboard show. And it's hard to welcome everybody when you're getting swore at the whole time. He did not stop. And the cruise line didn't even hear this guy because I'm right in front of them, but they're way back in the sound booth. So I have to fight through this with everybody sitting around him going, what's going on with this guy? Why does he keep swearing at you? And I never found out why. I don't know what I said, but there's definitely some lost in translation there because I don't remember saying that. I just got up on stage and said, welcome to the show, and I'm Rob Little, and whatever in German I said, which was nothing. I don't get it to this day. So you get some weird, you get people from all over the world too on cruise ships, and you got to really, I guess, watch what you say. And I'm so positive on stage that it's hard to fight through that when somebody's cussing at you. But so on cruise ships, a lot of people go, well, what's have you ever had anything happen that would never happen at a club? Yes, I've had a bunch. One of the most memorable was I was I got Cruise Line Entertainer of the Year or something, and they would put me on these charter cruises. And a charter cruise is when a group will rent out the whole ship, right? So I've done there was the Duck Dynasty show. I did their cruise. I did Backstreet Boys. I did a bunch of country concert ones. But sometimes you get hired. I got hired on a nudist cruise. And oh my God, everybody's like, did you have to be naked? And I'm like, I didn't have to be. No, I wasn't. I definitely wasn't. And they could only be nude in the common areas, like the pool area. But man, the stuff they would wear to the shows was quite distracting. And I had one lady come up on stage and start twerking and was not wearing every piece of clothing that she should have been. And that was quite a showstopper right there. That was right at the beginning of the show. And I go, well, there's pretty much nothing I can do to top that, so bye. Oh man, that was a crazy one. That was crazy. Things, that happen to you from doing stand-up on TV that people probably don't even realize. One time I was on Last Comic Standing, and I didn't make it very far, but I had some cool things happen after it. I was somebody's Make-A-Wish, and there was a girl outside of Cleveland. She had an inoperable brain tumor, and she said she wanted to meet me. And it was funny, when I got out there, there was TV and newspaper, and they're like, what do you think that she picked you as her Make-A-Wish? And I go, I think she wasted her Make-A-Wish. I'm like, Brad Pitt could be here right now. You just email me and I'd show up. And I was only supposed to stay a couple hours. I ended up spending the whole weekend. We had tons in common. She was super fun. Her mom looked and cooked like Paula Deen. We just ate and watched movies and laughed the whole weekend. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I thought it was a joke at first, and then it ended up turning into one of my most memorable moments ever. And I don't know many other guys that can say they've done that for someone, but even if I don't know. I just loved it. It was such a cool thing. I wish I would have went farther on Last Comic, but it's all right. That's speaking of another crazy story. Every comic's got stories about what's happened in your career that maybe fell through that you didn't get, but you had. We all got tons of stories where we've been oh, we almost had this TV show, we almost had that. My big one was I was picked to be a new cast member on Saturday Night Live one year. And it was supposed to be me and 3 new dudes. I got picked, I had 3 callbacks, and they had seen me on Last Comic, which was pretty cool. And I was with a big manager out here, and I don't want to say his name, but I was with a big guy, and they wanted to know if I had any characters, and I sent them a bunch of characters. And then they said, do you have any political characters? Because they knew it was going to be a huge political year. And I made up one, and they loved it, and they said, that's your first sketch on Saturday Night Live. That's how they told me I got it. Well, that was the same year Sarah Palin came out. And I don't know if you guys remember her, but that was the one year that Tina Fey played her on TV, and it ended up being their biggest year since the 70s. Well, good for them, but screwed me and these three other dudes over because they were all supposed to leave. Tina, Chris Parnell, Maya Rudolph, and Amy Poehler were all leaving, and it was supposed to be me and these three dudes. And they said, don't worry, we'll look at you again for next year. Well, next year came, and all those women were so funny, they only wanted new women. So I got screwed 2 times back to back. And if that would have happened, then obviously I wouldn't even be here talking to you because I'd be on somewhere else. No, I'd probably still be here because that's what the guys do. We all come back here. So I'm very blessed. I'm very excited to be coming back this week. It's been unbelievable. Getting to see some new faces I've never seen before and some old faces. And it's very inspiring to be back here, and I'm very grateful. So thanks, Mike, thanks, Richard, and thanks to the whole staff for having me. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Rob Little. You just watched Behind the Punchlines. Don't forget to hit and subscribe to that channel, and you'll get to see a bunch more fun guys just like this telling amazing stories. Have a good time. Bye.